Welcome to the 9th edition of the Inter-ministerial Press Conference organized by the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure. In our today's edition, we will start with the Ministry of Tourism and Culture announcing the disbursement of $100 million as part of COVID-19 stimulus package to actors in the tourism sector. The government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, on Wednesday, September 30th, announced the distribution of $100 million COVID-19 support fund for tourism resilience and recovery. The $100 million package is meant to improve the resilience, effectiveness, and efficiency of actors in the tourism sector as the country prepares for the reopening of the 2020-2021 tourist season. The beneficiaries include taxi drivers, tourist taxi drivers, fruit sellers, juice pressers, hairdressers, Senegambia market vendors, Kotu market vendors, Cape Point market craft vendors, craft market vendors around the other sectors or areas where tourists actually go to, tourist guides and bird watchers, miscellaneous businesses, hotels, guest houses and motels, upcountry lodges and camps, ground operators, equipment hirers and car rental companies, tourist boats, vessels and pirogues, bars, restaurants and clubs, beach bars, travel agencies, casinos, and gaming houses, the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, the Institute of Travel and Tourism of the Gambia, the Fashion Designers Association, the Book Publishers Association, the Theater Association, artist groups, Film Producers Association, the National Center for Arts and Culture, and the Music Union Association. So these are actually going to be the beneficiaries of this $100 million support from the government of the Gambia to help the actors in the tourism subsector as the country prepares for the 2020-2021 tourist season. The Ministry of Land, Regional Government and Religious Affairs. As part of efforts to combat land-related disputes in the country, the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs is currently working on the development of a systematic cadastral mapping system for the Gambia. Cadastral mapping is an information system and legal database for land ownership and usage in a given country. Extensive progress has been made so far, and when finalized, the new system will ameliorate land and natural resources conflicts in the Gambia. Disputes relating to land ownership in the country, especially within the Greater Banjul area, have escalated in the last decade. This is mainly as a result of the increase in the urban demographic and an upsurge of property value in the Greater Banjul area. While plans are being worked out for the introduction of the systematic cadastral mapping, the Ministry of Lands and Regional Government is currently using GPS coordinate system as an a short-term measure to minimize land-related conflicts. The short-term measure allows each parcel of land to be geo-referenced using its coordinates as a unique identifier of a precise geographic location of a land within a particular area. This upgrade will effectively help the ministry mitigate incidents of leasing one parcel of customary land to multiple users. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, and this relates to the Youth Revolving Fund Scheme, which was just recently established by the ministry. The Ministry of Youth and Sports has introduced a Youth Revolving Fund Scheme under the Youth and Sports Development Levy. The scheme has a startup fund of $22 million, which will be periodically replenished to deepen outreach and maximize impact. The revolving fund comprises 1, the seed fund to be managed by the Social Development Fund, and 2, grant, training, coaching, and mentoring to be managed by the National Enterprise Development Initiative, NEDI. In view of the above, a memorandum of understanding has been signed on the implementation of the Youth Revolving Fund Scheme between the Ministry of Youth and Sports through the National Enterprises Development Initiative, NEDI, and the Social Development Fund, SDF. NEDI is mandated to identify, select, train potential and existing youth on entrepreneurship, to provide coaching and mentoring services and microfinance provision to the young people of the Gambia. The management of NEDI, as part of its preparation processes, recently visited Bureng and Jataba, both in Jara East and Kiang West, to facilitate the operation of the micro-agro processing centers in the two communities for the youth and women entrepreneurs in the region. The Ministry of Petroleum and Energy recently validated the Gambia Green Mini-Grids feasibility studies, which is part of the Gambia GMG Country Support Program funded by the Sustainable Energy Fund for Africa, SIFA, of the African Development Bank. The availability of reliable, efficient, affordable, and environmentally friendly electricity supply is one of the cornerstones of the Gambia government's development aspirations for the energy sector, as elaborated in the sector policies, strategies, and national development plans. The Ministry of Petroleum and Energy is committed to promoting alternative electrification solutions as a necessary vehicle to provide access to these communities beyond the reach of the national grid. As part of the ministry's national strategy for universal electricity access, the Gambia government has set a target to connect 1/3 of the rural population through off-grid solutions by 2030, mainly through green mini-grids and stand-alone home system. The Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Regional Government. The Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Government, and Employment, through its projects, continue to provide support to small and medium-scale enterprises, SMEs, to enhance their recovery process following the COVID-19 pandemic. Under this initiative, the ministry, through the Enhanced Integration Framework Sustainability Support Phase project, has been supporting the Department of Fisheries in the construction of a smokehouse for women fish processors at the Tanje Community Fishing Center. Under the Sea Trade Gambia project, the ministry is supporting 82 women-owned businesses to enhance their economic participation in the horticulture and textile garment value chains. The project focuses on improving the capacities of the women entrepreneurs to improve the quality and packaging of their products. The project is also supporting in the creation of market linkages between women farmers to potential buyers. At the beginning of 2020, the Sea Trades project was able to link importers to women onion farmers to mop up their produce during the state of public emergency. Through this initiative, importers have committed to buying all locally produced onions during the onion season henceforth, thus addressing the challenges of market access for women farmers. In addition, the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration, and Employment is on course to develop a domestic trade strategy to promote domestic production using trade as a stimulus to export-led growth and development. To address the challenges relating to access to finance for women businesses, the Sea Trades project has established a mini-grant scheme to women-owned enterprises to expand their businesses and also address their capacity needs. In this regard, 4 women were supported with a grant of $250,000 each. The Personnel Management Office, and this one relates to the disbursement of loans to civil servants. The Personnel Management Office has completed the disbursement of batch 14 of the Civil Service revolving loan scheme. This was disbursed to all the 3 different categories of loan beneficiaries, namely personal, car, and housing loans to eligible civil servants in the first half of 2020 fiscal year. In this regard, 107 people benefited from personal loans, 18 people benefited from car loans, and 14 people benefited from housing loans. The fundamental objectives of the Civil Service Revolving Fund Scheme is geared towards attracting, retaining, and motivating a highly professional workforce for effective and efficient service delivery. This scheme is playing an important role in the attraction and retention of key public servant personnel in the Gambia. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.